This is the first video of my multimedia CV, and no better place and no more fitting place to start than with, well, perhaps the top of my Google Scholar. That's me, and I don't have a whole lot of publications, but you can see I'm slowly rising, and today I'm going to talk about the first publication that I have, which turns out to be ranked 15th, has 52 citations as of this date, which is January 22nd, 2017. And what I want to do is tell you a little bit about this publication. This is published now in the Journal of Addictive Diseases, I believe. It's changed names from when we published it. And you can see here, this is the masthead at the top of the paper. And there's a little bit of a change here. It's not 2008. It was published online in 2008, but it's a 1995-96 paper. It was published, the first author was Julie Erickson. She was my boss at the time, and she was nice enough to employ me, pay me very well, and allow me to do mostly what I wanted to do, which was great. Second, Sally Stevens. I never met her at the time, but she was on the paper. I'm not sure what she did. And then finally was me as third author, and A.J. Figueredo, who was my stats professor in graduate school, but a friend and colleague now. And the primary concern that we had about this was the willingness for treatment with IV drug users who were homeless. And the model that we tested, this is an important model for my professional development, because it was my first foray into testing a pretty complex structural equations model and really to get into measurement. So I was quite excited about this whole thing. And what I want to do is highlight the primary concern that we had was to take a scale that was divided into motivation, readiness, and suitability, and analyze it as if they should be, or maybe ought to be, treated as separate. But what we found out was it was better to consider them as a higher order factor of willingness to engage in treatment, willingness for change. And what we found that willingness had a direct effect on retention into this program to get homeless people housed. And then next is we found that there was an indirect effect on willingness to change for housing change. And that indirect effect was highlighted actually by the fact, by the lack of a direct effect on willingness to change to the housing change. So therefore, it appears as if there's actually a main effect for the treatment. And the important part of this paper is it was my first paper, and published paper. It turns out that it's the 15th ranked paper in my Google Scholar listings, but it was really my start in academic research. It was my start in data analysis and my start in measurement. So it's an important paper for me, and probably less scientifically than it is experientially, as well as shaping my career.